today. Of this insolvency. IRC. I also thank her chair, Jain. Format the speaker, I just as a moment to thank Revathi Raghunathan for organizing this program. As I'm sure all of you are aware, normally Chairman and I are integrally involved from the start to finish. But this program, Revathi ma'am, she said she'll take it and she wants a free hand. So we've given it to her, and all credit goes to her. Despite, in fact, if some of you had been watching on the first day, through her cough, through fever, everything, she still survived. For 4 hours, she took a session, and this is the final day of that. So credit to her. In fact, yesterday in the EC, there were discussions where we were discussing the program, and chairman was also aware of the pricing and all that. But we said the free hand has to be given to the coordinator, and as long as the person is taking up the credit as well as the responsibility, so naturally we should give them the feedback. So I think Revathi ma'am deserves that feedback to be known. That this program is definitely her baby, and credit to her being the insolvency professional. So thank you, Revathi ma'am. I'll also take this as an opportunity to welcome you for our future programs. We have a program organized on tax audit, the technology orientation areas of tax audit. We have leading speakers from across India, CA Vinod Singhania, CA Pramod Kumar Jain, who is a Central Council member, and Saran Kumar from Hyderabad will be joining us for these programs, and we have many interesting programs lined up as well. So I request everyone to please do join us for the future programs as well. So without further ado, Revathi ma'am, do you want to share a few words before we introduce the speaker? I think you're on mute. You're on mute. We cannot hear you.
Okay, no, you complete the introduction, then I will just take over and hand over the proceedings to Aneetha.
Sure. So I'll be introducing the speaker, and I'll be going away because I have some other commitments as well. So Revathi will be there to take you through the proceedings throughout as usual. And do share the feedback. I hope the feedback link has been shared with you. I haven't had a chance to go through the feedback, but I will definitely look at it, and we will definitely work on how to improve ourselves as well. So please feel free to leave all the feedback that you can. So now I will quickly introduce our speaker, CAS Aneetha. She's a fellow member of the ICAI. She's an associate member of the ICSI and the ICMAI, a diploma in information system audit, CISA, ethical hacker, and a law professional as well. She's a registered valuer and completed her bachelor in mathematics from University of Madras and master's in finance from the IIF. She's been having work experience for more than 2 decades and has in-depth knowledge in income tax law and practice. She's done various bank audits, concurrent audits, stock audits as well. And for company law also, she is a sought-after person. She is currently a faculty member at the CA and CS Institute, and is delivering many lectures on the insolvency, being specifically the insolvency professional. So this is only a brief introduction. I welcome you. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining today to address the members. And also, I'll hand over the proceedings now to CAFT. A couple of requests before that. Do put your question and answers in the Q&A tab only, not the chat tab. And do share your feedback. Definitely, even though Chairman and I were not involved, we'd love to hear the feedback. We'll work on it, as will Revathi as well. So please do share your feedback, anything good, anything bad, everything we want to hear. We will definitely work on whatever is required to be worked on. So thank you all. I hand over the proceedings now to CA Revathi.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good evening, friends. Welcome back to the final day of our IBC preparatory program. Today we have CA Aneetha, whom I think most of you would have heard of. She's one of the leading insolvency professionals and also faculty, and her way of presenting will be a little different from what the other speakers were, and her experience will also shine through. Before we move on, I just wanted to request you 2 things. One, please give your feedback And two, all the materials are uploaded onto the link, the website. You can download your materials from there, and we have also, as requested by the members, created a WhatsApp group in which I will be adding all the other faculties also. So in case anyone feels that any particular area has not been covered, please feel to post it on the WhatsApp group. We clarify your doubts on those, because the syllabus is very vast and we have tried our level best to cover most of the areas, but due to paucity of time, we may not have covered a few areas. Please do feel free to ask us about this. And there was also a query regarding the CIRP regulations, whether we had covered it. We have CIRP regulations was covered on the first day. Both the code and the regulations and the rules pertaining to CIRP I covered simultaneously. So in case you have any problems, go through the material, go through the recording, and in case you feel you still need more assistance, reach out to us in the WhatsApp group. Definitely your clarifications will be given, or you're also welcome to talk to us. But please do give the feedback, because that is what is most essential for us to upgrade the programs which are being delivered to the members. And also, Aneetha will also be giving you some tips on the exams. Remember the tips which I gave you, and the other faculties also. Try to register and finish the exam within the next 1 or 2 months before the lockdown is totally lifted and all the other parts of the course are notified, so that you're equipped to take on the onslaught of work which is going to come. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for attending in such large numbers. Over to Aneetha now. Aneetha, the floor is yours. Aneetha, unmute. Unmute you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Abhishek and Revathi, because for your wonderful presentation. And with this, I'll just start up, and I will also give you how we can do the entire program in the easiest way, so that you will never have a problem of remembering any of the sessions, and that will be easy for you to understand. So to start with, Revathi madam has already completed CIRP process and CIRP process. I would like to give you a small brief on CIRP progress, and we will move on to liquidation. Without understanding CIRP, you will not be able to understand liquidation process. So CIRP, if you recall, you are making an application, and this application, please friends, let me tell you very clearly, my program, I have already shared my PPT. The entire PPT is there in your drive, but this is going to be an, like I can very well put it as a blackboard and whiteboard section, and I'm going to write it everything in the whiteboard. You can very well copy if you are understanding your examination. Clearing the examination is, at least I can tell you, 85% I'm going to cover today, and you will be more comfortable. Okay. This application you are making before NCLT. Yesterday, Geetha madam would have covered like form 1 by FC, form 5 by OC, and form 6 by CD. Within 14 days, this application is going to be decided by adjudicating authority, accept or reject. Let's take it is going to be accepted. Then what you are going to do is, order is going to be passed, and this order is going to be passed accepting IRP is appointed. Moment IRP is appointed, within 3 days, IRP is going to give you a public announcement. And in the public announcement, IRP is asking to submit the claims within 14 days. Once the claims are submitted, there will be a 7 days window wherein you are going to verify the claims. Once you are going to verify the claim, within 2 days, you are going to file with the adjudicating authority a report. This report is called Constitution of Committee of Creditors. And on the very same day, you are going to call for a, within 7 days, first COC. In this first COC, you are going to ask, you are going to know whether IRP is appointed as a RP. Let's take IRP is appointed as the RP. Then this 30 days to 40 days is going to be a window, like all these things will be set, and on the 40th day, within 7 days, registered valuer will be appointed. All these things, everything has been covered on the first day itself. I'm just repeating so that it will be easy for everybody. Okay, easy for everybody to understand the whole process. Okay, within 7 days, registered valuers will be appointed. Within 14 days,
Aneetha, just 1 minute. Friends, I just want to clarify. Aneetha is just writing everything on her tab. This cannot be shared. Kindly take your screenshots or note it down as she goes. So, Aneetha, you'll have to go a little slower if people have to note down also.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Friends, whatever I'm just going to teach you is a recap of what Revathi madam has said on the first day. So hopefully, if you have followed it correctly, you will never have a problem. If there is anything, certainly I will do it little bit slow. On the 14th day, you are going to prepare an information memorandum from the insolvency commencement date. On 75th day, there are 2 activities you are supposed to do. One is EOI, you are going to release expression of interest, and you are going to wait 15 days for the people to understand and give the acceptance of expression of interest. And another 10 days, you are going to prepare a provisional list of the members who have given their expression to give a resolution plan. And you are just going to streamline and receive the objections who people you feel that they will not be eligible. And another 10 days you are going to take, and you are going to issue the final list of resolution applicants. On the 105th day, you are going to share information memorandum, request for resolution plan, and also evaluation matrix already. Okay, this is technically, if you are going to look into it, 75 plus 15 plus 10 plus 5 plus 10. Okay, in this particular area, 135th day, you are going to share IM, RFRP, and evaluation matrix. And you want the resolution applicant to give a plan on or before 1/3, like this will be something 75 plus 50, 90, 90 plus 10, 100, 105, and you want them to give the plan on or before 135th day, and from there 30 days deliberation with the COC, and on 165th day you are going to file your report with AA if the resolution plan is going to be presented by resolution applicant. Okay, this is one activity you are going to do on or 180th day. This is the last day. Adjudicating authority, if technically all areas are over, he is going to accept the resolution plan and implementation is going to happen. This is one activity which you are going to do on the 75th day. There is another activity also, you will do it on 75th day, is forming an opinion if there are any special transaction audit. This is a special is nothing but preferential transaction, then undervalue transaction. This I'm going to elaborately discuss preferential transaction, undervalue transaction, extortionate transaction, and defrauding creditors transaction. 43, 45, 50, and 66. All these things are today's topic. I will cover up. Nothing to worry on it. Okay. This you are going to decide, and you are going to file it with the IBBI, that is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board, on 115th day, and you are also going to file it with adjudicating authority, that is NCLT, on 135th day. This is what explained by Revathi madam on the first day. Now, I'm just going to move on from this. Okay. She has explained you up to section 32. I'm just going to start the liquidation process. This covers from section 33 to section 54 and liquidation regulation. It has 1 to 47 regulations are there. So if you are going to look into it, my way is like, what I will do is, I'm just going to combine both. Wherever necessary, I'm just going to say that in a clear way how you are going to study. Because regulation and process you have to study simultaneously. You cannot study isolated way of reading liquidation process, isolated way of reading liquidation regulation. So what you are supposed to do is like, you have to read it simultaneously. Now let's take liquidation section 33. Section 33 very clearly says how the liquidation is going to be initiated. If you recall, the liquidation is going to be initiated under, there are 180 days past, no resolution plan. This 170, 90 days extension also, 270 days, no resolution plan. Okay, then there is a 60 days exclusion, 330 days, no resolution plan. Automatic, it goes into liquidation. The second case, AA rejects the resolution plan. Again, it goes into liquidation. Third, the committee of creditors decided with the 66% of majority that they don't want to continue resolution process. Again, they recommend for with the 66% majority. Again, it goes into liquidation. The fourth thing, the corporate debtor, after resolution plan is admitted, the corporate debtor contravenes the plan, and this contravention affects any person prejudicially, it affects him. Again, it goes into liquidation. Under 4 circumstances, CIRP goes into liquidation. Circumstances number 1, the (180 days) period is passed and no resolution plan is received. 270 days, if there is an extension, no resolution plan is received, it goes into liquidation. And adjudicating authority decides under section 31, and he says that this resolution plan is not perfect and I am rejecting the resolution plan. Again, it goes into liquidation. Okay. Third, the committee of creditors decides, okay, this is not going to work out, we want only liquidation. Again, it goes into liquidation. The fourth one, the resolution plan is approved by the AA. However, the person who has been approved and taken over the company, now he is the corporate debtor, contravenes his own resolution plan, which affects any other person, and he recommends and apply to AA for this contravention. Again, it goes into liquidation. Once it goes into liquidation, AA is going to order 3 things. One is, he is going to say the company is going into liquidation. He will issue an order. Number 2, he will say, he will issue, ask for the public announcement, issue of the public announcement. The third thing is going to inform the authority about company going into liquidation. All the 3 things, the adjudicating authority is going to go. Order. The third thing, on the liquidation order being passed, that is the notice of discharge of duties of all the employees, officers, and other staff. Unless and otherwise, the particular liquidator feels this can be taken into consideration. Otherwise, this is going to be the last day for the particular company to continue. So let me repeat, section 33 very, very clearly says 4 things. Under 4 things, CIRP automatically goes into liquidation. Number 1, when 180 days are over, no resolution plan is going to come. Number 2, the resolution plan presented by the CD is presented by the resolution professional is rejected by the adjudicating authority. Number 3, the committee of creditors decided they don't want to continue CIRP with the 66% of voting. They say that let us go for a liquidation. Number 4, the resolution plan given by the CD, he contravenes any person aggrieved by the resolution plan. He can very well apply to AA and ensure that this particular position, as this company, the CD has to go into liquidation. All the 4 circumstances, the company goes into liquidation. Liquidation process is an automatic process. Automatic process, because if you look into bankruptcy process in insolvency and bankruptcy for individuals and partnership, there is a 33 months time where the creditor or debtor can apply. Here it is an automatic process. Section 34, this very clearly says about appointment of liquidator. How one liquidator will be appointed? Generally, liquidator, the resolution professional automatically becomes liquidator unless otherwise there is a procedure like the entire COC members decided we want a new liquidator and they pass the resolution with the 66% of majority, new liquidator is appointed. But if you look into section 27 of the CIRP process, very clearly says change of RP only. There is no provision in respect of change of liquidator. However, the liquidator can be changed under 3 circumstances. Number 1, the resolution plan is presented. However, this has been rejected by AA. Under the circumstances, AA requests the board to recommend another liquidator. Let me repeat. Resolution plan is presented and that is rejected by AA. Under the circumstances, AA will request the board for recommendation of another person as a liquidator. The second circumstances, the board changes the or recommends the new liquidator when there is a disciplinary proceedings against the RP. The third circumstances, the RP himself is not willing to submit Form AA. This Form AA is willingness to act as a liquidator. Under these 3 circumstances only, a liquidator can be changed. Otherwise, the resolution professional automatically becomes as a liquidator. Okay. This is what is section 34 says. 35 is a powers of liquidator. Now, if you recall, there is a provision, there is a case law which has been discussed on the 3rd day in respect of Swiss ribbons case. In this case, the Honorable Supreme Court very clearly said resolution professionals are only administrators. They are not adjudicators. Here, liquidators are adjudicators. What is the difference between administrator and adjudicator is administrator can only administer. They don't have a right to reject any application. Their right is to collect, collate the claims. Whereas the role of the adjudicator is he can reject the claim. So that is the main difference. Now, if you read Swiss ribbons, you will be able to now understand the difference between the adjudicator and the administrator. The powers of the liquidator, if you are going to look into it, first thing is that he is going to collect the claims and collate the claims. Second power, if you are going to recollect, that preserve and protect the assets or lies with the liquidator. He is a facilitator to take care of all the issues, and he can sue other people, sue other persons, so that the main idea of IBC is that maximize the wealth of the stakeholders. So if there is any case wherein he can collect the money and distribute it to various stakeholders, they can sue on behalf of the company. Okay, so powers or lot of powers now lies with the liquidator. He has to use all these powers to benefit in such a way that stakeholders are getting the maximum benefit. Okay, 36 section very clearly talks about creating a liquidation estate. Okay, see, some of the areas you have to know, but if you are going to ask me what is an exam prospective, so far you are reading it. Wherever the examination prospective is going to come, I will certainly tell you those areas you are supposed to read it twice. So far, whatever I have stated is what is important in the section only. I'm just recollecting and I'm just teaching you. Once the main flowchart is going to come, you will be able to do it in a better way. The liquidation estate is nothing but the liquidator is the main role of liquidator is going to sell the assets and realize the money. All the realization he is supposed to put it in the liquidation estate for distribution. This is the purpose of the liquidation estate, and he is doing various jobs to do that. In this, there is 136 subsection 4 examination purpose. You are supposed to do that. Liquidation estate shall not include anywhere in this IBC. Wherever shall not is there, you are supposed to read it twice. Questions will come only from these kind of areas. This shall not, if you are going to read it, third party security, you will not be able to take into your liquidation estate. Bailment contract, you cannot take into liquidation estate. Provident fund or anything related with the workman, gratuity, provident fund cannot be taken as a liquidation estate. And any third party collateral held by us for the sake of third party cannot be taken and put it under your own estate. So for examination purpose, all these things you are supposed to read. There will be one question from this area. Next one is 37. In this section, it very, very clearly says the liquidator has a power to access information, which means the liquidator can request any statutory body and collect the information, and he can do and use this information in favor of the creditor so that the maximization of the stakeholders' wealth can be protected. See, up to this section, except 36(4), rest of the sections, if you are going to look into it from examination perspective, this 34 section, wherein then how the liquidator can be replaced, this section is also important, subsection is also important. And if you recall, on 33, generally I have not seen any questions. 34, I have seen questions. 35 is a practical way of how handling. 36 subsection 4 is an examination question. Here you are supposed to read it, and power to access liquidator or normal questions. Now I'm going to take going to write a simple flow chart. I want you to understand this flow chart. This is from now onwards, it's very much important. My style of teaching is I'm just going to teach you both regulation as well as code. Will explain you slowly. You can very well note it down, because if you note it down now, I'm going to write it in your own way, then it will be very easy. You will be thorough with liquidation. The first thing, liquidation order is passed. When the liquidation order is passed, within 5 days, the liquidator has to issue a public announcement. This public announcement should be issued in Form B. This is coming under, this is dealt under Regulation 12 in liquidation regulations. Okay, this is dealt under Regulation 12 Form B in second schedule, as per second schedule. Okay, all these things plays a vital role. So public announcement should be released within 5 days from the date of the liquidator is appointed through liquidation order. In this public announcement, there is a period of 30 days to submit claims by all claimant, because now the company is going to wind up. Everybody, whomever is, all stakeholders, whomever is there, should submit the claims. Now, how people are going to submit the claims? If you recall CIRP, the very same forms in a different order, it is going to be worked on. Submission of claims is dealt in section 38, and regulation, this is going to be on regulation 30. Okay, and this says operation creditors have to file the form in form number C. Okay, financial creditors have to file the form in form number D. Employee or workman, singular, form E. Employee or workman through AR, plural, form F. And other creditors have to file in form G. All these things are explained. This is explained in regulation 17, regulation 18, regulation 19, regulation 19, both are same regulation, regulation 20. Let me repeat once again. The liquidation order is issued by the adjudicating authority. In the liquidation order, the name of the liquidator will always be present. This is section 33. Okay, and the moment liquidator is appointed, within 5 days, he has to give the public announcement. If you recall, in CIRP, within 3 days you are giving the public announcement. In liquidation, you are supposed to give the public announcement. Public announcement always will be given where the registered office is located, one in English paper, another in vernacular paper. Okay, you are going to issue public announcement in form number B. This has been very clearly said in regulation 12 as per second schedule. Okay, if you recall in CIRP, we have used only a schedule. Here there are 3 schedules in liquidation, and as per second schedule, form B is issued. In this public announcement, we are just going to call the creditors to submit the claim within 30 days from the date of liquidation order. Now I have submitted the claim. My question is now, can I modify or vary the claim? Yes. Within 14 days, the creditor is allowed to modify or vary the claims. This is permissible and allowed in the IBC. So I am giving a claim and I would like to do it. Yes, you are allowed to do within 14 days. Now, having submitted the claims, the liquidator takes 30 days time for verification of claims. All these are examination questions. Don't worry. If you are going to lead, understand, it is only audit questions. You will be able to do it very clearly. The first thing, you are going to receive the liquidation order wherein the liquidator name is going to be present. On the receipt of the liquidation order, within 5 days, the liquidator has to issue the public announcement. And on the public announcement, he is going to ask all the creditors to submit the claims within 30 days from the date of liquidation order. And how they are going to do is that his operational creditor is going to file Form C and he can give it in person or through speed post, or he can give it through email. Whereas financial creditor has to give their claim only through email. Okay. If it is an employee or workman, singular, he has to give his form in his claim in Form E. If employee or worker plural, through their authorized representative, they are supposed to give in Form F. Any other creditor, see, this is not only like equity shareholders, preference shareholders, some other creditors, investors, all those people, they are supposed to give their claim through Form G. Once the claim is going to come, is there any way they want to modify the claim? Yes, they can modify the claim within 14 days from the date of submission of claims. They can modify or vary the claims. Okay, having claim being submitted, it is the duty of the liquidator to verify the claim within next 30 days. Now, having verified the claim within 7 days, the liquidator has to accept or reject the claim. This is a very, very important job of the liquidator because he is an adjudicator. So he can accept or reject the claim. So if he is rejecting somebody's claim, now please understand, he is rejecting a claim. Any aggrieved party whose claim is rejected by the liquidator, he can within 14 days, he has to file an appeal before AA. This is section 42, frequently asked examination question. Okay, if the rejection of the claim is done by the liquidator, the aggrieved party can file an application before AA within the period of 14 days. This is a very, very frequent examination question. Okay, I will once again repeat so that all these things you will be able to understand. Liquidation order is passed under section 33. Within 5 days, public announcement should be given by the liquidators and asking the creditors to file the claims or submit the claims within a period of 30 days. And he takes another 30 days for verification of claims, and he is accepting or rejecting the claim within 7 days after verification of the claim. If anybody's claim is going to be rejected, that person has to file his support. He has to file it his way, why show cause why his claim should be accepted, and he has to make an appeal before the adjudicating authority within the period of 14 days. Okay, this is a very frequently, this 14 days section 42 is a very frequently asked question. Okay, so if you are going to do it, see this public announcement, section 39, 38 is a submission of claims. Section 39 is a verification of claims. Section 40 is accept or reject the claims. Section 42 is if it is rejected, what is that aggrieved party can do it. all these things, please note it down. These are the important areas you should always remember. Okay, so once this is over, there are other duties also liquidator has to do that. Liquidation order, or this date is called liquidation commencement date. From this date, on or before, you know pretty well, 5 days, then 30 days, then 30 days submission, then verification, then 7 days, accept or reject, then there is a 75th day. That is from the liquidation commencement date to 75th day. It is the duty of the liquidator to file preliminary report. Don't worry, I will explain what is preliminary report. And he has to file asset memorandum report. See, these reports are very much important. It is the duty. He has to do that. And these are important reports which every liquidator has to do that. Apart from it, there is one more this thing. After the submission of claims, within 45 days, the liquidator also supposed to file list of stakeholders with AA, adjudicating authority. On the 75th day, 3 jobs are supposed to be done by the liquidator. One is a preliminary report. The second one is asset memorandum report. The third one is list of stakeholders. This is regulation 30 and this is regulation 34. This is regulation 31, if I remember correctly. List of stakeholders is regulation 31. See, if you read like this, it is easy for you to remember. It is all these things are to be reported to adjudicating authority. Everything has to be submitted only to the adjudicating authority. That not only this, there are other reports also. Since I'm just covering in a systematic way, I'm just doing it. Apart from it, I'll also cover all the other areas. Regulation 13, Regulation 34, Regulation 31. All these reports should be submitted to AA. Clear? So let me once again say, because these are the things are very, very important from the examination point of view. And also, if you recall, there is a case study. This case study carries 12 marks. Case study will definitely contain these kind of areas. They will ask you question, very 1 or 2 questions on timeline. Rest of the things, they will test your understanding, how your understanding is. Say, I will once again repeat so that you will remember. Liquidation order is passed. After liquidation order is passed, liquidator is appointed and his name is specified in the liquidation order. He has to give within 5 days public announcement calling for the submission of claims within a period of 30 days. And whomever has given a claim, they can modify or vary their claim within 14 days. Okay, again, this is also an examination question. And these claims are verified within a period of 30 days. And accept or reject again within a period of 7 days. This is called a adjudication power, adjudicational power on the liquidator. And more than that, any aggrieved party on rejection has to file an appeal before the AA. AA always, please remember, it is an adjudicating authority. And from the liquidation commencement date, on the 75th day, 3 reports have to be submitted. First report is called preliminary report. The second report is called asset memorandum report. The third report is called list of stakeholders. if you recall in CIRP, you would also file a report called certifying the committee of creditors on the 23rd day. And also along with that, you will also say section regulation 13 subsection 2D, you would have very clearly stated who are your creditors. Both the reports you will file it with the AA. Same way here, you are supposed to file preliminary report, asset memorandum report, and list of stakeholders on section on as per regulation 31. See, your portion for the examination is applicable only on 30th June 2019. There are a lot of amendments have come after June. So restrict yourself. If there is anything beyond June 2019, please, your portions are not going to be covered because there is something called stakeholders consultation committee. If you are going to download the latest liquidation process, it will be there. This is not for your examination. I am restricting myself only with these areas. Yes, 330 days is, if it is going to see before 330 has come after 36, then this is not applicable for your examination. Don't worry about it. What is there for your examination only they will ask you. They will never ask you beyond it. Let me share some tips with you. One is, you should be very careful on question. The questions will be plain questions, negative questions, double negative questions, shall not questions, except questions. If you read the question and understand it, immediately your answer is going to come into your mind, then you are through. If there is some kind of oscillation, there is a 50-50 chances, because negative marks really kills you. And if you are going to prepare a chart like this and going to bring everything in one area, it will be easy for you, because the first thing is liquidation order. What is the first job the liquidator has to do is, he has to give the public announcement. Audit question, within how many days? 5 days. Second, what is the purpose of public announcement? The public announcement purpose is like, he has to collect the creditors. He requests creditors to submit the claims. So within how many, audit question, within how many days the creditor should submit the claims? 30 days. Once the creditors are going to give the claims, within how many days you are going to verify? You have a solid 30 days to verify, because liquidation is a closure. So every application, once again, you are supposed to verify. And once you are going to verify, if you have a doubt, you can accept or reject. Any person, if you are going to reject, you have to give explanation why you are rejecting that particular claim. Always remember, if you are going to reject the claim, the aggrieved person certainly will appeal to the adjudicating authority, and this adjudicating authority will certainly question you and ask you under what substantiation you have rejected his claim. Then at that time, you should be able to present why you have rejected the claim. Examination question always, or case law question, case study question is, I have seen so many times, this 15 is going to come, this 14 days is going to come. Please be clear. Okay, there is a question. The question is in respect of whether lines are mandatory or directory. For examination purpose, everything is mandatory. For practical purpose, everything depends upon the situation. Say, I need some kind of an explanation and cooperation from the CD. He is not giving me the cooperation. If he is not going to give me the cooperation, how do you expect that I can fulfill the timeline? See, if you recall in CIRP under section 19, if the corporate debtor is not cooperating, you are filing an application for non-cooperation. Same way, in liquidation also, as per regulation 9, you are going to file before the adjudicating authority, request the adjudicating authority to direct the corporate debtor to cooperate with you. So, examination purpose, everything is, you have to go by the timeline. Practice different, exam different. Now we are focusing only on the exam. So all the timelines, whatever I have stated here, please remember, you have to follow the entire this thing in a proper and systematic way till you complete your examination. After completion of your examination, practice side depends upon the situation. They wanted the IBBA and also the Committee of Creditors wanted us to strictly follow the timeline. And if there is a delay in the timeline, definitely we are receiving the notices. What prevents us not to do it? So to protect ourselves, it is very much important. We have to record a lot of issues in the minutes. So accordingly, follow the timeline strictly. Now, having said this, now I have to teach you a lot of things in respect of this preliminary report. Just give me a minute. I will just rub the entire this thing so that now, what is a preliminary report? Okay, again, if you're going to ask me what kind of a question you are going to receive on preliminary report, I have seen only questions in respect of preliminary report, asset memorandum report, and progress report. Lot of reports are there. I will explain one by one. Examination point of view, these reports, they are asking only a timeline basis. They are not asking what is the content of the report. But very recently, I have seen, because they have exhausted with so much of questions, they are asking these kind of questions also. So the preliminary report generally contains regulation. Please refer regulation 30. Okay, I have seen one of my friend told me that they have asked the regulation number also, but if you are going to ask me, to my knowledge, they are not supposed to ask you the section number or regulation number, but it is again our luck how they are going to ask us questions. So see, some areas you should be thorough with these things. So I don't say like you have to remember all these sections, but some of the regulations, it is advisable. If you remember, that will certainly help you. One such section is a preliminary report. Preliminary report should consist of capital structure of the company, which is a must. Number two, it should also consist and say that it should also give the estimate of assets and liabilities on the liquidation commencement date. LCD refers to liquidation commencement date. ICD, insolvency commencement date. Third thing, it is the duty of the liquidator. He should say that he has completed all the inquiry about the corporate debtor and he is stopping the inquiry. See, technically, it is the duty of the liquidator to investigate and try to get the maximum benefit, and he has to realize the best value and distribute to the stakeholders. That also he has to say that like he has collected all the information. The fourth thing he is also supposed to do is like, what is this proposed plan? A proposed plan to carry and close the entire liquidation. Technically, the proposed plan is a timeline. See, all these things, it is the duty of the liquidator. He has to file. If you look into asset memorandum register, this is also to be filed along with the preliminary report. Regulation 34. Please take regulation 34. I think all these things they have already shared with you from the institute. So if you take regulation 34, again, it very clearly says asset memorandum report should be filed along with the preliminary report. Examination question, asset memorandum report should be filed along with the progress report. Asset memorandum report should be filed along with the asset sale report. Asset memorandum with the preliminary report. Asset memorandum report should be filed separately. The correct answer is asset memorandum report should be filed along with the progress report. Again, asset memorandum report, you are going to say value of the assets. Number 2, you are going to say intended mode of sale, mode or manner of sale. What is the amount expected to be realized? All these things you are going to say, because how you are going to say is that you are going to appoint 2 registered valuers, and the registered valuers are going to give you the liquidation value, and based on that you are going to say that this is possible. So technically, if you are going to give this particular area, you should have appointed the registered valuer much earlier. If you recall, in CIRP process, registered valuers are appointed from the 47th day of CIRP. And if you recall, this registered valuers report will be shared with COC only after the resolution plan is received. So before that, this registered valuers report will not be shared with committee of creditors. Same way here, you are going to appoint 2 people, and this report is the basis for your estimation of the realization value. Okay, I mean, all these things are practical side. I'm saying, if you are going to ask me, is there any question is going to come in? Technically, they are asking, especially these areas, only the timelines. To understand, I'm just giving you all these things. And third thing, if you are going to recall, this is this asset memorandum report and preliminary report should have been filed together on 75th day. Please, you can refer section regulation 35 subsection 4 examination question. Okay, if you are going to read it, this is going to be excellent. Okay, now let's move on to the next level of topic. There are so many areas you should be supposed to read. I have covered from section 33 to 42. Section 33 is the liquidation order. Section 34, I've told you, this is the appointment of liquidator and his fees. Section 35 is powers of the liquidator. Section 36 is you are creating a liquidation account, liquidation estate. And section 35, 36, 37 is accessing the information. 38 is consolidation of accounts. 39 is verification of accounts. 40, accept or reject the account, accept or reject the claim. 41 is determination of the claim. 42 is a person who is aggrieved by the rejection can file an application before the adjudicating authority. Now, there are certain sections which are very important. This examination point of view, if you are going to ask me how much it is relevant, this is relevant for the case law purpose, but examination point of view, this may come as a case study, so please listen carefully. Section 43. There is something you would have read in CIRP process under section 25, which is the duty of the resolution professional. It is the duty of the resolution professional. He has to certainly prepare, he has to certainly file an application called a avoidance transaction 25 subsection 2 subclass J. If you recall, Revathi ma'am would have told you avoidance application. What is an avoidance application? This avoidance application is explained in chapter 3. This is liquidation is nothing but a chapter 3. These avoidance applications are divided into 4 categories. One is section 43, preferential transaction. Section 45, undervalued transaction. Section 50, extortionate transaction. And section 66 is a defrauding creditors. Okay, don't worry, my handwriting is not that much good, but I'll write it a little bit better. Bear with me. Now I'm going to take the first area of preferential transaction. What is preferential transaction? Preferential transactions are transactions. The corporate debtor is entering into a transaction with a creditor or a guarantor or a surety, and this transaction helps them. This transaction give these people a beneficial position. As per section 53. Don't worry, section 53 is a very important section. While explaining, once again I'll explain to you. Till now, just note it down. This creditors will be in a beneficial position because the transaction entered with these people or in respect of the antecedent debt, and the creditor pays to clear off this antecedent debt to either creditor or a guarantor or a surety. Because of it, this creditor or a guarantee or a surety will be in a beneficial position, better than other creditors, other guarantors and other people. Accordingly, their interest is going to be disturbed. And this kind of a transactions happening in a relevant period. What is a relevant period? Relevant period for a related party transactions. See, if you recall in Companies Act, section 276 and 277 in Companies Act, we used to talk about related party transactions, same kind of a transaction, but here this has been explained in 5 subsection 24 and 5 subsection 24A. Please refer these two transactions. These people whom is going to come under these two sections are called related party, and this related party transactions is happening within 2 years. Within 2 years from ICD, insolvency commencement date. Say for example, insolvency commencement date is going to be 1/1/2020. 2 years prior means the insolvency commencement is 1/1/2018 till the period of 2020. You can look into the document, various transactions, and if this various transaction put the creditor in a beneficial position, then you can very well initiate the preferential transaction for a related party. If a person is an unrelated party, then your relevant period is only 1 year. Let me repeat. The preferential transaction under section 43 clearly defines a creditor, guarantor or surety, and the corporate debtor is having some kind of an antecedent debt, and doing this transaction, their position is changed, and which is beneficial position, and that particular creditor is going to be benefited out of it, leaving the other people. these kind of a transactions is entered between related party and unrelated party. If it is a related party, the relevant period is 2 years. If it is unrelated party, the relevant period is 1 year. If the transaction is happened during that particular period, the liquidator can file an application before AA under section 43. There are two exceptions to this particular transaction. One is if the above transaction has happened in the ordinary course of business, then that cannot be called as a preferential transaction. Number two, it has not created any new value. Okay, which means that is already there. The securities already exist. That security is being transferred and it has not created a new value. Then in the both the cases, these transactions are not called as a preferential transaction. When I file an application under section 43, that is a liquidator is filing an application under section 43, orders are passed by AA under section 44 as per the request of the liquidator, and they will cancel and ensure that the preferential creditor who has been given a preference will go back to the old stage. That kind of order you can expect from the adjudicating authority. Now, let's move on to the section 45, which is an undervalue transaction. Again, questions are asked in undervalue transaction because there are few things you should know about undervalue transaction. Okay. The order, see, I am finding there are certain preferential transactions in that particular category. So I am applying to the adjudicating, I am making an application before the adjudicating authority and asking him to reverse the transaction and ensure that that particular creditor or a particular surety or particular guarantor should not get a beneficial position, and accordingly that particular transaction has to be cancelled. I will tell you a practical case so that you will be able to understand. We have seen there were say there were 10 creditors. Okay, 10 financial creditors. Out of 10 financial creditors, there is something called a one financial creditor who has been continuously benefited, whereas the rest of the 9 creditors during the past 1 year there was no credit. Only this particular person, the corporate debtor, is paying the money. And if you look into the transaction, the corporate debtor deliberately not paid the interest for the financial creditors. However, he has paid to one particular financial creditor. Say for example, these are banks. This is an individual. I'm just giving you an example because this is a practical case which I have handled. So what I have decided is this individual is not a related party, but the corporate debtor denying the interest payments to the banks, but he has paid to the individual. And this transaction happened the last 1 year of the LCD, and I have filed an application under section 43 and requested that this individual who have collected the money should pay back to the corporate debtor, and that money can be utilized for the payment of all the 10 creditors as per section 53. Don't worry, if I say section 53 right now, just note it down. What is section 53? When I'm going to explain, you will understand. So technically, this particular creditor is benefited, whereas the rest of the creditors are not benefited. So it was a preferential transaction. So we filed a case before NCLT, that is adjudicating authority, to reverse the transaction, give a proper order. Accordingly, the order has been passed and the individual has been asked to pay to the company whatever the benefit he has derived during that period. This is called a order given by the adjudicating authority. Examination point of view, orders, these are practical areas. Examination point of view, they will ask you a question in respect of, they will give you the transaction and they will ask you whether this transaction is a preferential transaction. You have to look into 3 areas. Number 1 in section 43, whether relevant period for related party transaction and unrelated party transaction. This is the first step. Second step, whether it belongs to antecedent debt. Third, you are supposed to see that this has made this creditor a beneficial position. And fourth thing, this has not happened on ordinary course of business. And it has not created a new value. If all the conditions are fulfilled, then you have to see that and file an application accordingly. I'm sorry, just 1 minute, I'll just look into it. Can a beneficial creditor oblige to refund the money against the, yes. Any person who is benefited out of the transaction and we are able to prove that, we will certainly get orders from the adjudicating authority. That is the job of us, and we will certainly be successful, because basically, to be honest with you, chartered accountants are very, very good in audit. Within 3 hours, you will be able to find it out whether the funds are being moved in the right direction, siphoned, or it has been moved as an investment to subsidiary company and moved out of the company. Long-term debt has been, long-term borrowings has been, short-term borrowings have been used as a long-term borrowings. We chartered accountants are very good in this. We will be able to figure this out. Now let's move on to undervalue transaction. This is again important chapter. I want you to concentrate very clearly, because there are, one is undervalued transaction as per section 45, and second one is a relevant period under section 46, and third one is application by other creditors under section, don't worry, I'll explain to you 47. The fourth one is order under section 48, order by AA, and the last one is undervalue transaction as per section 45 subsection 2. Now let me explain to you what is an undervalue transaction. Very relevant for examination, so you should be thorough with it. First thing, a transaction is happening between a corporate debtor and another person. That is, a corporate debtor gives some of the assets to another person. Number 2, the corporate debtor transfers an asset which is significantly lower than the corporate debtor transfer an asset which is significantly lower than the consideration provided by, I will explain to you, provided by CD. Now, there are 2 transactions. Director is purchasing a car, but the company is paying installments. Again, this is 100%. It's more like a gift. The car is in the name of the director. However, every installment of the car is paid by the company, CD. It is more like a gift. This is an undervalued transaction. There is another transaction. There is a land which is valued, say, 50 crores, and the company decided to transfer this 50 crores of land to 20 crores to its relative or any person. And these things, definitely you are able to see that. Say for example, a land in Mylapore. 1 acre in Mylapore is something, say, 20 crores. And there are 5 acres, and which has to fetch the value of 100 crores. Instead, you see in the books, this 5 acres, the company has sold to somebody worth only for 15 crores. Certainly, this is a significantly lower consideration received by the company. This is an undervalued transaction. If you are going to do an undervalued transaction, you should also know the relevant period. The relevant period is none. Whatever I have explained earlier, the same thing is going to apply here also. That is, the relevant period for a related party transaction is 2 years from LCD, liquidation commencement date. If it is an unrelated party, it is 1 year. See, whenever you are going to look into these kind of a transaction, the look back period is only 2 years from the insolvency commencement date. What is important is that if you are going to file an application before the adjudicating authority, please ensure that this kind of a transaction is happening only, the look back period allowed is only 2 years, nothing beyond it. If it is an unrelated party, it should be 1 year. Now, the third area under section 47. See, there is a likely chances the resolution professional or liquidator, even though they have all the information, they have not filed any transaction in respect of undervalue. Instead of the liquidator and RP, an application is filed by a creditor or a member to adjudicating authority and explaining the undervalued transaction. And the adjudicating authority is satisfied on this undervalued transaction. All these cases, he has to pass an order under section 48, which is nothing but he will reverse, he will, whatever be the benefit derived by this particular person has to be paid back to the company. The order will be by the adjudicating authority reversing the transaction. Any benefit received by that particular person, they have to pay back to the CD. Now it is under the control of liquidator. Okay, this is the order generally passed by the CD. But here there is one more danger. What is the danger here? Is since the RP failed his duty, the adjudicating authority will recommend a disciplinary proceedings against the RP. So RP should be very, very careful. He has to look into the transaction and ensure that he has not missed out anything. If he is going to miss out, and which is apparent on record, if he is not doing his duty properly, if any creditor or member is going to file an application to the adjudicating authority under section 47, again, the look back period is going to be one and the same. It is 2 years and 1 year only. Then it is going to be a problem of the RP. RP certainly has to face the disciplinary action, which will be taken by 2 people. One is IPA and also another one is IBA. So you should always be careful that you should not miss out any of the transaction. Now let's come to the final transaction, undervalued transaction as per section 45(2). I said look back period for both the cases is only 2 years and 1 year. Here, if there is an undervalued transaction like this, like 100 crores land has been transferred to the tune of 15 crores. If it is going to happen, say today order liquidation order is come on 1/12/2019. 1/12/2019. So naturally, insolvency commencement date, technically speaking, 1/2/2019. Okay, or 1/3/2019. So this particular transaction happened. 2 years look back is only till 70. However, this transaction has been happened during 2015. There is always a escape for the company because this is beyond the period, look back period. However, in section 49, any transaction which is in respect of 45 subsection 2, which is nothing but this particular subsection, there is no look back period. You can go back as many years you want if there is a transaction which has happened which affected the realization of the CD. Let me repeat. Section 49, there is no look back period. This is relevant to the CD transfers an asset to related party or unrelated party for a significantly less consideration. Examination question, instead of significantly less, they will say significantly equal. Don't ask me this kind of a questions, whether will come, 100% it will come. Significantly greater than, significantly less, there is no significance, and significantly less. All these questions are expected, and I have seen this question appearing in examination very frequently. Please read that particular section 45 subsection 2 subclause B is a very important examination perspective, very important section. Okay, now having said 45 in a 4 different way. First one is undervalued transaction. As per section 45, there are 2 transactions. One transaction is give. Another one is like the CD, transfer the asset of the CD, which is significantly lower, and they receive the significantly lower consideration. Then both the transaction, the look back period is 2 years in the case of the related party, and 1 year it is in the case of the unrelated party. If this is happening, then the liquidator has to file an application under section 45 and seeking the relief under section 48. In section 48, what happens is, whatever the transfer has happened, the adjudicating authority direct the beneficiary to pay the difference to the liquidator, and also they have a right to take the transfer as a void transaction. It depends upon what is the kind of a prayer you are going to request to the adjudicating authority. Same way, under section 47, if the liquidator or a resolution professional fails to do its duty, and this duty has been done, the duty has been done by any other creditor, then that particular creditor will file an application. If the application filed is genuine with the proper evidences, the adjudicating authority will certainly pass an order under section 48. Simultaneously, the adjudicating authority will recommend this particular RP before the IBBI. Yesterday you would have read Insolvency Professionals Code of Conduct. If we are not going to do the job properly, IBBI will certainly investigate on us, and we have to file a report why we have not considered this. If it is not suitably explained, there is likely chances they may debar or cancel our agreement, cancel our membership. Both IPA as well as IBBI has got a right to do that. So we should be very careful. If there are any undervalued transactions, we should be very careful enough to take into consideration. The third thing, what is important is practical side, is this section 49. In one of the cases, I have seen it, there was a transfer of an asset from CD to a related party. And this transaction is very clearly the value of transfer is 1 crore. However, the value paid as per stamp duty, that is stamp duty paid to effect this transaction is 5 crores. And the value is 1 crore, it is certainly a undervalued transaction. When there is an undervalued transaction, and we will immediately look into that because this qualifies for 40 subsection 2B. Then if I want to file an application under 45 subsection 2B, certainly we will look into it a look back period. Look back period, if you are going to look into it, is a related party. So 2 years. However, this transaction has happened 4 years back. So I cannot file under section 45 subsection 2B. I filed under section 49 and requested the adjudicating authority to pass a necessary order under section 48 and make this transaction either the difference fees as to come to me or make the transaction void. Both are possible. Again, examination perspective, this is one area you will get a question. Same way, case studies point of view, they will give you a case study like that and they will ask you whether this is a undervalued transaction or not. You should be very, very careful because this undervalued transaction, there should be some basis so that you will be prove that this is an undervalued transaction. The third thing is 50 and 51. 50 is nothing but extortionate transaction. This extortionate is explained under regulation. One second, I'll just tell you the regulation. Regulation 11. What is it? Again, examination question is always possible. That is why I ensure that you have to read this regulation 11. This extortionate transaction is nothing but the CD is paying exorbitant amount of interest, exorbitant amount of interest, or unconscionable interest. So in both the cases, this transaction is called extortionate transaction. And if you look into it, ordinarily speaking, what is an extortionate transaction? Any person charging, say, 36% of interest, 24%. See, sometimes 24% of interest from various people definitely put the CD into a problem. But you are supposed to say that because of this, the CD has get into problem. This area of explanation you should very clearly specify in the application. All the cases wherever I have seen, this 36% has been changed. Okay, again, it depends upon adjudicating authority to adjudicating authority. What is applicable in NCLT Chennai will not be applicable in NCLT Kolkata or NCLT Bangalore because these are coordinated boards. That be, if they have the same strength, the other boards, other NCLT decision will not bind this NCLT. The binding force of NCLT is NCLAT or a Supreme Court. So accordingly, in our case, this 36% has been asked to reduce to 18%. And once we calculated 18%, it is more like the person who has collected interest has paid to the CD. That kind of interest we were able to receive. Again, here in this extortionate transaction, you are supposed to look into it, see every transaction, every amount received or paid by the company with a clear loan agreement. There should be a loan agreement to give an explanation why this should be called as an extortionate. Why? what is that you are going to do. In Tamil Nadu, if you are going to look into it, there is a Tamil Nadu Fisheries Act wherein if you are going to collect money, exorbitant interest, you will be taken under that particular act itself. So there should be a reasonable amount of interest you can very well collect from the CD. So section 50 is like that. 51, the order is passed by the AA. See, you are making an application under section 50. Order is made under section 51, and this order is very simple. The order will be like that, like the cancellation. They will set aside this particular transaction and ask them to repay the amount, or they can modify the terms, or they can definitely ask the particular person to repay, or they will suitably change the rates. All these things are the orders under section 51. What is important now is section 52, very important section in respect of the bankers. Section 52 talks about, because now the liquidation order is passed. Now bankers, if you recall, under section 14 of IBC, moratorium is declared. During moratorium, if you recall, the bankers cannot take action against the CD if they have filed under section 13(4) before SIRC. All civil suit will be stalled because of the moratorium under section 14. Now, it is the decision of the bankers to definitely do two things. They can forfeit their rights and give the entire assets to the liquidator and liquidators pool, or they will write to liquidator and say that like we would like to take an action against these assets through SIRC. I will repeat once again. It is the option of the bankers to stand outside the liquidation, or they can join the pool. Both have got a repercussion on section 53. I will finish section 53, then I will explain to you section 52 with regulation 21 and regulation 37. If I complete 53, you will be able to understand this regulation. So I'll just go once again. Section 53 is called waterfall model. Very important section, and there will be certainly one question compulsorily from this chapter. Okay, please note very carefully why this particular section is very important. I will give you the relevance in so many areas. I have used this section 53 in so many areas. Once I complete this section 53 waterfall model, you will be able to appreciate why this section 53 is very much important. You are selling the assets. Now you have collected the money. Under section 53, you are going to distribute the money. How you are going to distribute? The first person you are going to distribute is liquidation cost, which means fees of the liquidator, persons appointed by liquidator. Say for example, the liquidator appoints resolution registered valuers, statutory auditors to complete the accounts. He appoints a forensic auditor to help him to complete this special avoidance transaction. He appoints say transaction auditor, that is section 43, 45, 50 and 66 is again called as a transaction audit or a special transaction audit. You are appointing somebody. All these people whom are you have and your team, everybody will be paid first. This is called a liquidation cost. The happiest of the entire IBC is like we will get our cost first. Number 2, we are going to do or share the cost. The second one is workman. 24 months of liquidation commencement date, which is nothing but, say for example, the liquidation date is 1/1/2020. The workman is eligible from 1/1/2018 to till date he is eligible, and his payment will be released next to liquidation cost along with secured creditors. Who are the secured creditors? If you recall, a person who has given their assets to the liquidator. Say for example, there is a bank and the bank said, like, I don't want to go under SIRC. Please sell the assets and give back my money. If the bank is going to forfeit their rights and give that particular asset in the pool of the liquidator, they will get their money under the order of 2. They will get the money in the second order. Third, employee. Employee is going to get 12 months LCD. They are eligible to, if the employees, you know pretty well, everybody is going to file a claim, and each person, see, if you recall, the secured creditors is filing the claim under Form D, workman is filing under the claim Form E or Form F. Same way, employee is filing the claim under Form E or Form F. Everybody, we are going to collect, verify, admit those people. Moment we are realizing the asset value, we are supposed to distribute as per the admission. The fourth one is unsecured financial creditors. See, if you recall, this is a secured creditors. The fourth one is unsecured financial creditors. The fifth one is government dues along with for 2 years LCD along with secured, unsecured portion of secured creditors. Let me explain. This is very important. You have to understand what is this. Technically, a secured creditor, decided to go under SIRC. The value of the asset, the value of the claim is 30 crores and he wants to go through SIRC. Accordingly, he has realized to the tune of 20 crores. There is a still due of 10 crores. This person will come under this criteria. If a person who has forfeited the entire this thing, and if he has forfeited and given the asset, then his position is here. Otherwise, a person who has not forfeited and wanted to go under along with the balance amount only, he is capable of collecting along with the government dues. If you now recall, day before yesterday, you have read case laws. There are 2 case laws which I would like to reiterate now. One case law, if you recall, edible oil fats, wherein the income tax department has attached a property and they said that we are government and crown debts should be paid first. And the High Court very clearly said nothing doing. Section 238 overrides the entire other courts. IBC prevails over all other acts. Accordingly, you have to collect the money as per section 53. Same way, if you recall, there is another case in respect of PF department. PF department said, you have to pay me first. Otherwise, you have to pay me first. And we are the people who are having a right to collect the money. The Honorable Supreme Court very clearly said, no, you have to come in the line, and it is their line is government dues. They have to come only in the 5th position. before IBC is come into effect, if you recall, most of the areas, even though the banks are willing to take up the assets, the moment the assets are realized, they will, the sales tax department will come to, I'm sorry, the government, I'm sorry, really, if the bank is going to realize that particular asset, the sales tax department will send a notice to the bank and they will say that this is the due from the company, you have to pay me first. And that position after IBC has come into place has been changed. So what is important here is the government dues has been changed from the first position to the fifth position. Now let's go to the sixth position. The sixth position is other creditors. Who are the other creditors? Number one, operational creditors. Number two, employee more than 24 months. Three, workman more than, here 12 months, here 24 months. Fourth is government dues more than 24 months. And these people will form part of the other creditors. Okay, other creditors dues will be settled. Seventh one is preferential shareholders. And the eighth one is equity shareholders. Okay, so if you recall this section, now you will be able to understand why section 53 is very, very important from the examination point of view and also practical point of view, that this, the first attraction here in this is that liquidation cost will be paid. Whatever the assets we are going to realize, our payment will be taken care at the first level. The second is like workman along with the secured creditors who has forfeited the share. They will share equally in the second place. The third place is employee, 12 months due. The fourth place is unsecured creditor, unsecured financial creditor. And the fifth place is government dues along with unsecured portion of the secured creditors. The sixth one is other creditors. In the other creditors, operational creditors will come, employees will come, workman will come, government dues will come, everything will come under other creditors. The seventh place is preferential creditors. Eighth place is equity shareholder. Now, I'll tell you the practical scenario. Most of the cases, if you look into the IBC, you would have read in newspaper, this is going into liquidation. And lot of haircuts are also happening. Lot of realizations are not at all happening. Say, for example, if the collection, the claim is say 1,000 crores. However, collections are only say 100 crores. Technically, this will never go beyond second stage. This is where it is happening, and most of the operational creditors are having a problem, even though they have filed the case under section 7, under section 9, rule 6 filing. If it company goes into liquidation, they are not able to get anything. This is the current scenario. However, if you look into it, the attractive part here is, technically speaking, our cost is the first cost is paid in the entire transaction. Whatever the professional work we are going to do, that our fees will be paid first. And the government dues, so far the government was always having a, like, they are always right in so many ways, and they will say that first right lies with us has been changed after the introduction of IBC, and the rights have gone into the fifth level. So PF department, income tax department. If you recall, like prevention of money laundering, they have attached their property and the court has directed them to release the property, because any government use, if at all the company going under section 53, they have to follow this rule. Now, if you recall, I said under section 43 preferential transaction, if in the preferential transaction, if this antecedent date and transaction happened between the corporate debtor giving a preference to a particular debtor, making his position much better. Say, there could be a chances he is an unsecured financial creditor and the company has transferred certain assets during the period of relevant period of 1 year or 2 years respectively, and making this financial creditor to a beneficial position as a secured creditor. Otherwise, he would have become an unsecured creditor. Definitely, the liquidator can ask for the reversal position so that the secured creditor's position will become safe. Now, this is one case. Number two, I said section 52. Section 52 is nothing but bankers. Any person who is dealing with the bank should know section 52. This should be read with regulation 21, regulation 37. Both are very important regulations. Both sections are very much important. If the banker want to forfeit and give the entire assets to the liquidator, his position is number 2. Like, he will get back his money immediately. On the other hand, he is not forfeiting, rather he is realizing under SIRC under section 14, and he is realizing and balance any amount he wants to get. His position is number 5. But situation here, if you are going to look into it, number 2, practically none of the assets are that day that has been valued 100 crores. Today, if you are going to value, it is only going 25 crores. Where is the question of coming under 5 and collecting it? So, but it is the choice of the banker. Rule 21 says, what is the security interest? The security interest every banker has to prove through, yesterday you would have read, information utility, by filing a statement with the information utility or filing his charges with the ROC under section 77 or filing with SIRC. SIRC is something like every bank, whenever they give a loan, they will file a report with the RBI whenever there is a loan department. If the creditor is going to prove that the security interest created out of this, they will be treated as a secured creditor. And if any person wanted to stand out, has been explained in regulation 37, it is the duty of the creditor should say the reserve price, and it is reserve price. Reserve price is a price generally given by the banker based on the registered valuer's certificate. This reserve price is a price which generally, if you could say that this price is any advertisement, first price will be, they will declare is a reserve price. It is the duty of the liquidator to identify a person, and if that person, if they are going to identify within 21 days, the creditor should enter into a sale with that particular person within 30 days. Otherwise, the creditor can sell the asset on his own. If there is a surplus, he has to inform the liquidator and deposit the amount. If there is a deficit, again it is the duty of him to inform the liquidator, so that liquidator will note and order of distribution will be according to section 53, and this particular person will come under order 5. Let me repeat once again. Section 30, regulation 37 very clearly says that it is the duty of the banker should inform what is the reserve price, and the liquidator will certainly find out the right person, and if he is going to find out the right person, it is the duty of the banker to sell to that particular person. If it is not happening, he can very well sell it outside. If there is a surplus, he has to transfer. If there is no surplus, based on his application, it will be definitely kept under the order 5 of section 53. Now, having said this, now you have realized and distributed. There is nothing in the liquidation estate. Now the liquidation estate is 0. It is the duty of the liquidator. This is section 54. It is the duty of the liquidator to inform the AA that he has completed the entire process. This completion, AA will look into the final report submitted by liquidator and issue the dissolution order. Now only the company is going to be dissolved under section 53 and order will be issued. This order should be filed with registrar within 7 days by the liquidator. Let me repeat. Once you complete the entire process, it is the duty of the liquidator should give a final report. Based on the final report, the AA will pass an order for dissolution, and the dissolution order should be filed by the liquidator with the registrar within 7 days of receiving that order. If there is any question, you can ask me, because if you look into it, liquidation process is section 33 to 54. I have covered. There are certain areas in regulation which I am going to cover now. If there is any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll proceed with that. Can we have
Aneetha, there are only 2 questions as of now. And the third question where someone is asking us a list of all the timelines in the form of a chart. One question is, what will happen if the beneficial creditor obligated to refund the money against section 44 order is not able to pay because of cash flow problem? What is the recourse?
Okay, let me answer both the questions. In respect of, can we have the list of all timelines in a chart from ICD? This chart is available in CIRP. If you look into it, section 41. I will tell you. You want to prepare the chart by yourself. Section 40A is a timeline given. Okay, this timeline, you are supposed to do it by yourself. Then only you will be able to understand. This is available, and if you understand the process, you will be able to do that. Same way in liquidation process, this has been given under section 47 model timeline. Both the areas, the timeline is given, but if you are going to draw the chart and ask an audit questions, it will be easy for you to understand the process and answer it. Number 2, your question on like they are unable to pay preferential transaction. This question, I can very well tell you, they cannot say no. It is the duty. It is the duty. They have to do whatever they want. Once the order has been passed by the AA, it is the duty of the beneficial person to pay them. The court will not say that, pardon me, I don't have funds. That is not at all worry of the court. They will go to the course of action. What is the course of action? There are offences and penalties. If somebody is not following the orders given by the court, there is a provision from 68 to 77, offences and penalty, they will be penalized accordingly. That's it. That is what is, if you recall, that is something called special court has been established under the Companies Act. And these people will be taken to the special court, and actions and prosecution will be undertaken, or rather prosecution will be taken on that particular person who was not able to fulfill the order of the court that will be decided by the special courts. They have established the special courts currently, and special courts are functioning.
Yeah. The next question is, can you please clarify the avoidance transactions under CIRP and the role of RP?
Can I just come again?
Can you please clarify the avoidance transactions under CIRP and the role of RP?
CIRP and role of RP or role of liquidator? Okay.
They've asked the role of RP.
See, as I said, section 25, subsection 2, subsection J. It is the duty of the RP to find it out, the avoidance transaction. It is the duty. When something is defined as a duty, it is a mandatory, they are supposed to do it. But there could be a chances you will not be able to do that. It may take some time. You have to give an explanation. If you recall in CIRP, from the ICD, liquidation commencement date, or on 75th day, RP has to form an opinion on these avoidance transactions. It is the duty of the RP. See, you are getting into the company and you are starting the process. By looking into the accounts, you will be able to figure it out. What are the avoidance transactions? And you have to form an opinion on 75th day, and you have to take the report on 150th day with the IBC. And 135th day, 135th day with AA. So technically, if you are going to recall, it is the duty of the RP, he has to file it. Now the question, is it practically possible? Practically difficult, because getting books itself is a difficult task from the CD. A person who deliberately wanted not to pay any of the creditors will not give us the books. The real challenge for a lot of us is the accounts will be finished up to 2016. No transactions or accounts have not been finalized till, see, the order could be 2019 for the last 3 years. So it is the duty of you to ask the statutory auditors of that company and ask them whether they can complete and give the accounts till 2019. You have to coordinate with the CD and also the bankers and also the statutory auditors to complete the audit, so that you will be able to do the avoidance transaction easily. If there is a difficulty, you have to explain why there is a difficulty. If the books are not ready, you have to file an application under section 19 if you are in CIRP process. This will protect you of this will protect you in so many cases, because anybody who is going to ask you why you have not done or released information memorandum or released UI, for preparing an information memorandum, you require accounts. One is audited accounts, another one is on the date of ICD, insolvency commencement date. You would not be in a position to prepare an information memorandum. You are not in a position to do the avoidance transaction. Both areas you should be very, very clear. To protect the RP, he has to file an application under section 19. If you are unable to do it, because RP himself is appointed as the liquidator, most of the cases, if you look into it, 90% of the cases, the RP himself will be appointed as the liquidator, so he can continue and file an application, file an avoidance transaction application. Okay, so it is the duty of you to ensure that is why they have given you a free hand to appoint statutory auditors or any other professionals so that you can delegate the job and give them that job, coordinate with them, complete the job. All these things are allowed. And it is your duty that you have to follow the timeline, irrespective of anything. They want us to follow the timeline. If you are going to follow the timeline, it is easy for you because the timelines help you to plan ahead, and also you can approach the right person. You will get a right coordination and you can achieve the target with that, because you recall the preamble of IBC is a time-bound activity. You have to complete within time. The first timeline they have given you is 180 days. All the 180 days they have given you what are the jobs the RT has to do that. So it is advisable to adhere to the timelines. Is there any other question?
Yeah, actually, there are a few more questions. Shall we take everything towards the end? Now, however you are comfortable, I don't mind. I'll read the questions if you are comfortable about.
We can complete the question, or otherwise, shall I complete some of the other portions also?
Yeah, please complete so that we can take. But in the meanwhile, do you want to give a short break of 5 minutes?
Okay, right now we will give a break, and I'll just we will catch up within 6:10. We will catch it up.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah.
Short break of 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So, friends, we will be back by 6:10, and we will handle the questions after the session is over, as usual. So please keep sending the Q&A, and any other questions regarding the exams also can be taken later.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, let's start. We can start.
Okay. See, there are certain sections in regulations I have not covered. I'll just cover it, then I will go to the other areas which will be easy for you. The reports which the liquidator is supposed to file with the AA, you all know: preliminary report, asset memorandum report, progress report, which I have not dealt, asset sale report, again I have not dealt, final report, and report on consultation with stakeholders. All these things I'll right now explain to you. See, progress report. The progress report is dealt under section under regulation 14. What is a progress report? Sorry, not 14. It is 15. What is a progress report? It is the duty of the liquidator is to inform to the AA, adjudicating authority, on every quarter about the progress of the liquidation. Say, for example, a liquidator is appointed in the month of, say, 1/2/2020. The first progress report he is supposed to do 1/2/2020 to 31/3/2020 on or before 15/4/2020. The second report he is supposed to do from 1/4/2020 to 36/2020 on 15/7/2020. The third progress report he is supposed to do is 1/7/2020 till 31/12/2020 on or before 15/1/2021. The fourth progress report is 1/1/2021 to 31/3/2021 on. He is supposed to give 15/4/2021. Okay, now how long he is supposed to give is the question. As your examination purpose, liquidation should be completed within a period of 2 years. Currently, after examination, you will be surprised to note that this period has been reduced to 1 year, but for your examination purpose, the period is 2 years. Next one. Every quarter, after the completion of the quarter, 15 days from the end of the quarter, you are supposed to file this progress report. Say, you are ceased to become, like you have completed during the period, say somewhere in month of 14/4/2021. You are supposed to give the report 1/4/2021 till 14/4/2021. You are supposed to give your report and close the report. This is about the progress report. Next report is asset sale report. This report has to be filed. Again, the section of the asset sale report, I'll tell you, please note that section, which is also important from the exam point of view, is regulation 36. The asset sale report is nothing but whatever the asset you are going to sell during that quarter, you are supposed to inform AA, which otherwise means asset sale report should be filed along with progress report. Examination question: asset sale report should be filed along with A, preliminary report, B, asset memorandum report, C, progress report, D, not necessary to file the report? The answer is progress report. This kind of questions are always, remember, if you recall, asset memorandum report should be filed along with A, progress report, B, it should be filed along with asset sale report, C, preliminary report, D, final report. If you recall, the answer is it has to be filed along with the preliminary report. These kind of questions are always used to come. Now, you want to make distribution. How you are going to do a distribution? If you recall, under section 53 of the code, you are going to distribute. But before distribution, please refer section regulation 42. If you want to distribute, there are two reports you should have completed. Report number 1, list of stakeholders should have been completed, and asset memorandum report, both should have been filed with AA. But if you know, on the 75th day, we are filing preliminary report, you are filing asset memorandum report, list of stakeholders. All these things we are filing already, but examination purpose, they are capable of confusing us. You should be very clear. You should never get confused. You should understand everything properly. Okay, now, as if you recall Companies Act, if there are contributory who are supposed to contribute, it is the duty of the liquidator to collect the money from the contributor. Same way here, say for example, paid up capital and amount received is out of face value 10 rupees. The company has received only 7 rupees. It is the duty of the liquidator can ask the contributory to make the contribution of rupees 3, and it is the duty of the contributory to pay the money within 15 days from the receipt of the notice received from the liquidator. Again, refer regulation 40, one second, it's 46, 40, regulation 40. As per regulation 40, it is the duty if the liquidator is going to ask the contributory to make good of the balance of whatever be the money due to the company, they have to definitely do it within 15 days. Now the question is, there is a creditor and the same person is also debtor as with the CD. The only mutual debt, you can do the mutual credit and set off only against the same creditor and same debtor. Say you cannot collect money from creditor A and settle the debtor B. This is not allowed. What you are allowed to do is, if there is a credit from A and debit from A, you can set off this, and whatever be the due, they can file a claim. Again, examination point of view, they will ask some kind of a question here. They will say X and Y, and you should be definitely make yourself clear. Only you can set up against the X. You cannot set up X money with Y. This is again important. This is regulation 29. I mean, certain regulations you are supposed to read combinedly. Certain regulations you are supposed to read separately. These are the regulations. If you are going to read separately, this will help you. And one question which I would like to definitely tell you is, which I forgot to tell you. See, if you recall in CIRP, moratorium is there under section 40. Moratorium very clearly says creditor cannot sue, or the creditors, whatever the suit against the corporate debtor will be stayed. Same way, under section 33, subclass 5. Let me check once again and I'll give you a confirmation. Yes. No person can sue the company once the liquidation order is passed. Only liquidator has a power to sue others. Now the question, if somebody needed money, want to sue, what they are supposed to do is that they have to file a claim. Okay. So this is again practical point of view important, examination point of view, I don't think so. This is very, very important as of now. With this, another area I want to cover is now sale. I said sale. How the sale is going to happen is, one is a public sale, another one is a private sale. See, private sale can happen immediately with the permission of AA under the circumstances if the goods are in perishable nature. Second, if the goods are to be sold, if not immediately, that will have a deteriorate in value. Third, you want to sell and that selling price is greater than reserve price. Because always remember, what is important here is maximization of the wealth of the stakeholders. If you are capable of selling and getting more price than the reserve price, then you have a right to do a private sale with the permission of AA. Same way, you cannot sell just like that. What you are supposed to do is, like, if you want to sell to series relative, RP's relative, or liquidator's relative of a liquidator, or a professional appointed by liquidator. If you want to do a sale to these people, you must get prior AA's permission. Okay, this is a must. Okay, and books of the CD. Now, if you recall, under section 35, RP 34, RP is a liquidator is appointed. On the very same day, directors, AMPs, or their powers and duties are completely terminated, and everything vests with the liquidator. Everything vests with the liquidator. So technically now everything is with liquidator. He is supposed to maintain the books for the period of 8 years. Again, this is an examination question. There are certain registers like liquidator is supposed to maintain, and this register, say, I can tell you, like some of the registers, like once again, I'll just exactly tell you the regulation 6. The liquidator has to maintain cash book, liquidator has to maintain ledgers, all these things. If you refer regulation 6, again 8 years. See, examination question, they will not ask you what are the registers or records to be maintained. They will ask you how many years it has to be maintained. Please refer these two sections. Very, very clearly says it has to be maintained for the period of 8 years. I think one more area I'm supposed to cover is that consultation with the stakeholders. See, there could be a chances some stakeholder has got a better view and he will give a good suggestion to the liquidator. This will not be known to other people. It is the duty of the liquidator. If this consultation with the stakeholder seems to be good, he has to give all this consultation and he has to publish in form number A as per second schedule. Okay, now there are 3 schedules in liquidation. First schedule is talking about mode of sale. How you are supposed to sell, what kind of a mode you are supposed to sell. If you recall e-auction, you can do that. And if the price you are unable to do that, you can reduce to 25% on the second sale. And even if you are not going to do this, this is a 10%. All these things are practical side. Okay. The second is about forms, various forms. You recall Form A, stakeholders consultation. Form B is public announcement. Form C, this is second schedule. Operational creditor. D, financial creditor. E, workman or employee. F, workman or employee's authorized representative. And G is for other creditors. Even if you recall, even this equity shareholder or a preferential shareholder can file their application here. Now, I will tell you the practical side. Say, if you recall in CIRP, section 21, wherein we said related party financial creditor cannot represent, participate, or do a voting. They don't have a right, but their claims are admitted. Okay, but if you look into section 53, it said only unsecured financial creditors, order to unsecured financial creditors, order 4. These people are eligible if they have given finance. A director has lent a loan to the company. See, directors can give a loan to the company, which is allowed as per section 73 to 76 of Companies Act, and only they have to give a declaration. And if they have given a proper declaration and disclosure and form, they are allowed to come and collect the money under financial creditor. On the other hand, the shareholder of the company can get their money under equity shareholders as the 8th order 8 if money is available. Okay, so some of the companies, if you recall, CD is filing an application under section 10, rule 7. This is, he is unable to pay the debt. That be the case, again, this is, if the money is available, equity shareholders will also get it. Okay, these areas, always remember, you are supposed to distribute the payment based on the orders, and if related party or unrelated party, whatever it may be, or section 53 very, very clearly says this is allowed. And one more this thing, you should also be clear, while distributing the amounts, you cannot keep the amount more than 6 months in the bank account. You are supposed to distribute within the period. Once you are going to realize the money, you have to file a report. Accordingly, you are supposed to distribute the funds. This has been changed, but for your examination, it is 6 months. Next thing you should remember, the completion of liquidation is for the period of 2 years. At the time of completion, it is the duty of the liquidator has to file Form H. Form H is nothing but We have discussed various timelines. All the timelines he has to fill in, and he has to apply for dissolution because he has completed the job. With this, liquidation is over. Okay, if there is any doubt, you can very well ask me. What I will do is I'll just finish this. Then we will go to the next section, and I would like to give you lot of areas, whatever be important from the examination perspective, and this will be helpful if you are going to understand it. Revathi? Okay, whatever the questions I'm able to see that I will.
Can you see the questions?
No, I'm not able to see the questions.
Okay, so you want to take the questions now?
Yeah, we will complete the questions.
Okay.
And, I will tell them what are the other important areas they are supposed to cover in a. What is your suggestion? Can we take the questions after 7 o'clock? 7 to 7.
Yeah, we'll take the questions after 7 o'clock. So
Okay.
maybe you can cover the offenses and penalties. I don't know whether it was covered by Ramana.
Offenses and penalties individuals as well as CIRP. So let me cover.
Yeah.
See, now having completed the liquidation process, let me go out of syllabus. Out of syllabus in the sense, whatever the portion allotted to me, I'm just going to go away from the provisions. Now I'm going to tell you what are the areas you are supposed to cover for the examination. See, you all recall 255 sections and 16 regulations. Technically speaking, only 15 regulations, on which 4 regulations CIRP, fast track process, liquidation process, and voluntary liquidation. These, if you are going to read CIRP thoroughly, FTP is only smaller changes, liquidation thoroughly, voluntary liquidation is the easiest one. I will definitely cover this voluntary liquidation because compulsorily 2 questions are appearing from voluntary liquidation. I'll just cover it up. In the meantime, if you are going to look into it, there are 3 rules, out of which only 1 rule is very, very important, is adjudicating authority rules. These are the portions you are supposed to know about it. And out of 255 sections, it has been divided into 5 parts. Part number 1 is preliminary. This deals with coverage and like definitions. Okay, this is 1 to 3. And chapter part 2 is again CIRP, LLP, limited. And this is 4 to 77. And the third part is part 3 is individuals and partnership. The fourth one is adjudicating authorities. This is basically IBBI roles and responsibilities. The fifth one is miscellaneous. So if you look into it, this is 78 to section 187. This is 188 to, one second, 200 223 and 224 to 255. See, this has got 7 chapters. This has got 7 chapters. And this has also got 7 chapters. If you ask me why I'm saying all these things, nowadays they are asking question on chapter also. You have to read it thoroughly. Okay. So in this, we have covered in respect of CIRP, we have covered from 4 to 54. Okay, one is CIRP chapter 2, another one is chapter 3 liquidation. Chapter 4 is about fast track process. This fast track process is nothing but it is applicable to small companies, startup companies, companies where the asset value is less than 1 crore. Only those companies are applicable for fast track. As the name itself indicates, this fast track, the period of fast track is 90 days and extension is 45 days. Okay, and some of the areas I'll just cover it little bit after 15 minutes. This is fast track. The chapter 5 talks about voluntary liquidation. This is a very, very important chapter. Chapter 6 is again administration. This I'll now cover it because one question will certainly come from. The last one, chapter 7, is about offenses and penalties. Okay, just a minute. So I'm just going to cover this administration chapter 6. See, you all recall you are filing an application with NCLT and you are aggrieved by the order of NCLT to whom you are supposed to appeal. You are supposed to file an appeal to NCLAT or NCLAT. A stands for Appellate Tribunal within 30 days from the receipt of the order, and if sufficient cause is shown, then you can file. They will give you another 15 days time. If the order of NCLAT is again passed and which is you have aggrieved by the order, you have to file only with the Supreme Court. Again, appeal can be filed from NCLAT to Supreme Court. The time limit is 45 days and sufficient cause is shown, another 15 days is allowed. Now, the question is, I have filed an application, but the application is not at all moving. Do I have a remedy? Yes, you can file it if the application is with NCLT or if the application is with NCLAT, either to the president of NCLT or chairperson of NCLAT, and they will ensure that your application is expeditiously disposed within 10 days. Now, practically, theoretically, this is possible, but practically not possible. Examination question, any one question from appear from this area. So you should be very clear. NCLT to NCLAT, NCLAT to Supreme Court, same day. DRT to DRAT, DRAT to Supreme Court, same timeline. Certainly one question will come here. Read this portion. Now, what is important here is offenses and penalties. Chapter 7. And I told you sections of 68 to 77. Very, very easy, but I will give you a shortcut to remember this. It is very important. You have to read once completely these sections. Then you can very well refer the chart. It will be very easy. Now, let's go with the application. Who are the people capable of filing an application? Is a financial creditor, operation creditor, and corporate debtor. This is section 77, 76, 75. Okay. So 75 is a financial creditor who is filing an application. For him, there is no imprisonment. Only there is a fine which is from 1 lakh minimum and maximum is 1 crore. If the financial creditor is filing an application and that application in respect of the default, okay, is not filed correctly and the adjudicating authority is able to see that, they can make him to pay the fine minimum 1 lakh, maximum 1 crore. It is the duty of the operation creditor while making an application, he has to file a true and fair view of default. And if he failed to do his duty, there is an imprisonment of 1 year minimum to the maximum of 5 years and a fine to the tune of 1 lakh to the extent of which may be increased to 1 crore. The third thing, what is important here is corporate data. Every area except 2 areas wherever the corporate data contravenes or not doing anything properly, the corporate data is punishable with the fine of 1 lakh to 1 crore and 3 years to 5 years. Please remember, whenever this corporate data is doing wrong thing, he will be punishable in all the areas except 2 areas, 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Now, having said that, everything, whatever you have read is only I'm going to cover it up. Section 75 talks about contravention in 2 places. One is moratorium, another one is resolution plan. Okay, if the moratorium is contravened by creditor, CD, let it be very clear, or any person. Okay, see, if it is going to be CD, I told you thumb rule is 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to here 3 lakhs. This is the first exception applicable to CD during moratorium. Any person 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Same way in resolution plan, which is going to be contravened by any person. Again, the limit is 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Let me repeat once again. If the application is going to be filed by the financial creditor under section 75, the imprisonment, there is no imprisonment. The fine is minimum 1 lakh, maximum 1 crore. If it is the operational creditor who is filing an application, he has not disclosed properly on the default under section 76, there is a chances that imprisonment minimum is 1 year, maximum is 5 years. Minimum fine is 1 lakh, maximum fine is 1 crore. In the case of CD, if he contravenes in his application, the minimum fine is 3 years, minimum imprisonment is 3 years, it may end up 5 years, minimum fine is 1 lakh, maximum is 1 crore. And if there is a contravention in respect of moratorium or a resolution plan, here the CD 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 3 lakhs. Here, this is the first exception. Any person, if you go to look into it, 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Any person, 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Okay, section 74, 73, 72 is dealing with CD who has not given the books, who was withholding the information, he is falsifying the books. All these sanctions. Whenever I said CD, thumb rule is 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore, maximum of that's it. See, if you recall clearly, wherever CD except 2 areas, all other areas, if you recall, this is going to be only like this, and you are supposed to follow this immensely. Okay, so we have covered this particular area, and there is, once again, let me repeat, section 74, 75 and 74, 73, 72. If the CD is not going to give a proper information, he is eligible for recommended for 3 years imprisonment. This may be increased to 5 years. This may be recommended for, he may be recommended for 1 lakh to 1 crore. Okay, now, one second, I think I have, okay, I think there is a small correction. I am supposed to do it. Okay, I said financial creditor 75. Here, this is not 75. This is 74. 75 is covered by financial. I stand corrected. Please correct it according. That's why I'm not able to get a correct this thing. Okay, this is 70. This is section 74, 73, 72, 71 is covering about CD. Section 70 is a very important provision. This deals with two people in CIRP process. Who are the two people involved in CIRP process? One is CD, the second one is RP. This is very, very important. CD, thumb rule, 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. RP, he is supposed to go maximum of 6 months imprisonment and 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. Again, this is one area. Please remember, you are also held responsible if you don't do your duty properly. And this area, always remember, one question from compulsorily will come from offences and penalties. That is why I'm just taking it. Please read the complete provisions of offences and penalties. All these things are examination questions. Now, section 69 talks about defrauding. If the word defrauding CD, again, defrauding is done by CD. This, again, 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. I told you there is a thumb rule. Is not applicable in two areas. Here, 1 year to 5 years. This thumb rule, please remember, two areas CD is different. One is on moratorium. The second one is defrauding. Both the areas, the thumb rule is different. The last section 68, it talks about property. And the property value is more than 10,000 rupees. And this property has been dealt in the company for more than 12 months. If all these conditions are going to come on CD, the thumb rule is 3 years to 5 years. Minimum period of imprisonment is 3 years. Maximum is 5 years. And fine is 1 year. This can be increased to 5 years. Sorry. Fine is, in fact, it's not years. It is 1 lakh. It's 1 lakh. This can be increased to the maximum of 1 crore. Once again, let me explain to you. For offences and penalties, these are covered under section. Please refer section 236. This is covered under special court. This is again examination question. Offences and penalties are as per section 236 of IBC. Please refer that section. This can be definitely prosecuted under special court established under the Companies Act. Okay, and easy to remember. First is the application. Who is filing an application? Application is filed by the financial creditor, operation creditor, corporate debtor. When a financial creditor is not filing properly on default, there is no imprisonment for him. Only fine 1 lakh to 1 crore. If the operation creditors, while filing the application, default he has not disclosed properly, the adjudicating authority can recommend for through the special court for 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh, and maximum fine is 1 crore. If CD was not done his duty properly, again, every area CD except two areas, it is 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. See, technically examination question will come. The CD has contravened the provisions as per the moratorium. He is punishable with the imprisonment of 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and no punishment. So you should be always remember, if CD always except two areas, his minimum punishment for an imprisonment is 3 years, maximum is 5 years, minimum punishment of a fine is 1 lakh. In moratorium, it is 3 lakhs. Any other person, always it's 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. There is no doubt on this. But the questions, certainly one question will come from this particular area. Okay. So section 71, 72, 73 talks about CD. CD wrongfully withholds the books. CD wrongfully not sharing the information or falsifying everything. And CD is giving wrong information. All these things are covered in this area. Since it is CD, 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. The CIRP process is dealt by two people. One is CD, another one is RP. If it is a CD, it is 3 years to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. Because CD everywhere, this is a thumb rule. You can very well remember. RP maximum of 6 months and 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. If it is a defrauding is an activity, then it is 1 year to 5 years, 1 lakh to 1 crore. And 68 section talks about property. The value of the property is more than 12 months, prior 12 months. All these words will be there. Please read the offences and penalty one time. And if you are understanding this flow chart, it is matter of 1 second for you to answer in the examination hall. So with this, offences and penalty is over. I'm going to take some important provisions in respect of voluntary liquidation. See, section 59 talks about voluntary liquidation. It has got 9 subsections. Out of it, 6 subsections are examination question. All 6 subsections are examination question. You are supposed to read voluntary liquidation thoroughly because this is a very, very important regulation. What are the 6 subsections? Because of the time, I'll just refer you. You have to read all 9. Especially, you should be thorough with 59 subsection 3. You are supposed to be thorough with 59.4. And the 59.3 is not a very big subsection. It says that majority of the directors should give the declaration, and the declaration is very clear that they have made a full inquiry about the affairs of the company and they are able to pay back all the creditors. And the second very clearly says that within 4 weeks of that declaration, again this 4 weeks examination is question, 4 weeks, 5 weeks kind of this question, they have to make an application to the and the declaration has to be filed with the ROC, and accordingly you can proceed with the liquidation. That's what it says. 59.4 very clearly says after passing the resolution, 75% of the creditors, that is 3/4 in value of creditors, should approve within 7 days of this resolution of liquidation being crossed. 59 subsection 5 again it talks about what is the date. Date of passing the resolution is the date of liquidation has been accepted by the CD. Okay, and the moment you are going to do the complete the project, see if you recall in section 54 we said within 7 days the liquidator has to file his final report with ROC. Here it says in 59 within 14 days the liquidator has to file with the ROC. Rest of the things if you are going to recall, like liquidation and voluntary liquidation. In liquidation, preliminary report should be filed within 75th day, on or before 75th day. In voluntary with AA, here the preliminary report should be filed within 45th day with CD. Because everything here is CD driven, here everything is adjudicating authority driven. So you should be capable of remembering this. This is again examination question. Please remember this area. Second, what is important here is asset memorandum report, asset sale report, progress report are must here. No such report is required here. What is required here is only annual status report. I mean, if you are going to read regulation of valuation very, very clearly, this is only, these are the changes there in the liquidation regulation. The third thing is like you are supposed to appoint 2 registered valuers. Here, 1 registered valuer itself is sufficient. The fourth thing, The fourth thing, the difference here between liquidation and voluntary liquidation. Here it is 2 years, it is 1 year. Okay. And if you recall, public announcement should be filed as per Schedule 2. Here in Form B. Here public announcement should be filed as per Schedule 1 in Form A. Respectively, other areas you have to definitely remember. And ROC on completion is 7 days. Here on completion, that is completion here, order from AEA. Here it is 14 days. If you could write all these things and identify the differences, it will be easy for you to complete the entire process. Okay. Same way, I will now give you the difference between CIRP with fast track process. I told you fast track process is applicable only startup companies, small companies, and assets value less than 1 crore. This is where the fast track process is applicable. This is covered under section 55 to 58. Okay, CIRP process, if you recall, the timeline is 180 days. Here it is 90 days. Extension here is 90 days. Here it is 45 days. Okay, and if you recall, submission of claims, here you have 14 days. Here it is going to be only 10 days. Okay, Constitution of Committee of Creditors. Don't worry, I will once again tell you again. Constitution of Committee of Creditors is 23 days. Here it is 21 days. Okay, and if you recall, first meeting should be convened 7 days. Here it is also 7 days. Second and subsequent meeting is 5 days. All here is 7 days. And percentage of voting, or three kind of a percentage of voting: 90% on 12A, 66% on COC on some matters as specified, 51% on other matters. See, this is specified in section 21. I think subsection 8 refer. Here everything is 75%. Rest of the things, if you are going to draw a chart, this will be sufficient. I will tell you once again the difference between CIRP and FTP. CIRP and FTP, the timeline is 180 days. Here it is 90 days. Extension is 90 days. Here 45 days. And submission of claim is 14 days. Here 10 days. COC is 23 days. And here it is 21 days. First meeting 7 days. Here also 7 days. Second and subsequent meeting, it says 5 days. Here it is 7 days. And percentage of voting, it is now three kind of a percentage: 90% on 12A matters, 66%. If you recall, 66% you will be doing it changing from IRP to RP, extension of time. Okay, then if you recall, third, like section 28, like if you want to do change statutory auditors, change the constitution, those things. Okay, then if you recall, resolution plan approval, again it requires 66%, and the COC decides to go for liquidation, again it requires 66%. These areas wherever 66% is mentioned, always remember that goes with the 66%. All other areas, like some other ordinary areas, if you want to keep it as a voting item, it is okay if you are going to have a 51%. In fast track process, everything is 75%. Okay, and rest of the timelines, like if you are going to draw the timeline by yourself and ask audit questions, this is going to be a very easy task. You are not going to have any problem in any of the areas. Okay, so now I think maximum we have covered, and one more area I would like to cover because questions are coming on this area also. Section 248, 249, 250, 251, 252, 253, 254, 255, 1 second. Just wait. Just wait 1 second. Oh, sorry. I have to start from 245. See, again, examinations questions are coming 245, 246, 247, 248. Don't worry, I will explain to you. 250, 251, 252, 253, 254, 255. Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5, Schedule 6, Schedule 7, Schedule 8, Schedule 9, Schedule 10, Schedule 11. This talks about PCI, CRP, CRF, yes, yes, PLC. Nothing. They will be asking one question from this area. Under which section Partnership Act has been amended? So Schedule 1 Partnership Act has been amended 1932. C stands for Central Excise 1944. Then I stands for Income Tax Act 1961. C stands for Customs Act 1962. R stands for the Recovery of Debts due to banks and financial institutions Act. Recovery of Debts due to banks and financial institution Act 1993. Next is Finance Act 1994. SIRC Act is 2002. Then SICA, that is we all know that SIC Industrial Understation, SIC Industrial Special Provision Repeals Act 2003. This is Payment and Settlement Act. Okay, 2007. Limited Liability Partnership 2008. Companies Act 2013. Examination, what they are asking is, as per Schedule 4, which act has been amended? So unless until you remember this, you will, there is a one mark question here. These are the areas you can very well take mark. So remember that I have an acronym which I will share it with you, but anybody can do it. If you see that this is in ascending order, if you read it, you will do that. This particular recovery of debts due to banks and financial institution has been amended as a Recovery of Debts and Bankruptcy Act. This name has been amended. Act. Again, this is an examination question. Other than that, they will ask you under Schedule 6, which act has been amended. So unless you remember this, you will not be able to do that. Easy way: Police Constable, Inspector, Central Reserve Force, Social Security, Prevent Law and Crime. Let me repeat. You have to remember this because sure question. Police Constable, Inspector, Central Reserve Force, they take care of social security to prevent law and crime. See, L and C, we all know that because Limited Liability Act and Companies Act, we are thorough. The Payment and Settlement Act is the act which takes care of this RTGS, NEFT, SICA, we all know. SIRC, we all know. Finance Act, generally, this talks about the service tax and other matters. And Customs Act, Income Tax Act, Central Excise, we all know that. Questions will be either they will ask you which act has been amended as per Schedule 7, or they will ask you under Section 250 which act has been amended, or otherwise they will ask you a question which has act been amended except. On except, they will say that Partnership Act, Central Excise Act, SIRC Act, Transfer of Property Act. If you look into it, Transfer of Property Act has not been amended anywhere. So you should be thorough in this. You will get one more question. To get more than 60%, the first area you should cover is offences and penalties. The second thing is voluntary liquidation. The third thing you are supposed to cover is bankruptcy. The fourth thing you are supposed to, cover is fast track process. The fifth area you are supposed to cover is insolvency, IPA, IP, IBDA, model loss. There will be one question. A separate concentration should be given on information utility. And another area is investigation, inspection and investigation. These are certainly questions will come on all these areas. You should have more this CIRP and say fresh start process, that is individuals. Most of the questions are case studies questions. See, especially Regulation 28, Regulation 29 are important. They will ask you these kind of questions. Ninth area you should cover is, I can tell you, is grievances. See, if you are going to give, there will be one question. A main thing I have forgot is 245 to 255. See, if you are going to cover these things in this order, give you more in-depth knowledge, try to prepare a chart. Getting 60 is not at all a difficult thing. You will certainly cover. If you look into IPA, IP and IU, there are common points. You pull out the common points and you do the entire this thing. There are only 10, 12 provisions or more. You should first thorough with IPA, then followed by IP. Like yesterday you would have seen it. If you pull common points, put your own chart, these things coverage will be less. And if you ask me how many hours you are supposed to read, if you are going to prepare a thorough chart in each and every, say for example, you are supposed to do your own chart like CIRP process, FTP process, liquidation process, and voluntary liquidation, there is no change. And insolvency resolution process, bankruptcy process. See, all this area, you are supposed to prepare a timeline, and you are supposed to say extension. You are supposed to say COC or list of creditors. If you are going to prepare your own chart, submission of claims, public announcement, all these things. Say for example, I'll give you a few areas. And I will stop because we are supposed to answer all your questions. I'll tell you like public announcement. If you recall, CIRP is 3 days, fast track is 3 days, liquidation and voluntary liquidation is 5 days, and insolvency resolution process individuals. Okay, this is 7 days, and bankruptcy process is 10 days. And list of creditors. See, technically you can take it as a COC also. If you call in COC is 23rd. If you remember, this is technically 21 days. Here, liquidation process, the list of creditors and constitution is 75th day because 30 plus 45. And here you are supposed to prepare like your own chart. I'm giving you an example how to clear the examination. Every area, if you concentrate and do your own chart like this, this is an easy way you can remember, clear the examination very easily. With this, if there are questions I would like to attend, and any area of doubt you can ask me. I'm here to help you out and sort this out. Revathi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, so now the questions are being validated by Selva. He will be sharing it on the screen, and we can take up the questions. Yeah, that's already. Yeah. Friends, we have also created a WhatsApp group, and whomsoever has not given their phone number, if you want to join, you can share your number and we will add you to the group, or maybe you could ask your friends to share your number in case you are interested in joining the WhatsApp group. Yeah. So, Aneetha, can you see the question?
Yeah. The CD has paid the employee's dues and also the operational creditors as per the contractual terms. Will it be treated as transaction in the ordinary course of business? Yes, employees and operational creditors, if they are going to see what is here is important is that if at all you want to take it as a preferential transaction, they should be given a preference over others. There are 10 employees, out of which only one employee is paid, then it's a preferential transaction. Otherwise, it is an ordinary course of transaction. This will not come under preferential transaction. The second question, practically, how does the RT ensure that undervalued transactions are identified? We all are chartered accountants. We will be able to figure it out in so many areas. Vehicles will be, insolvency will be paid by the company. However, if you look into the bargain or any kind of inquiry with the company, you will be able to see that who is the owner of that particular vehicle. You will be able to see that the owner will be the director, the company will be paid. This is one case. There could be a chances like the company would have sold some of the assets. See, it is also part of your duty to look into 3-4 years, try to find it out. If there is a substantial change in the asset value, you will be able to easily identify undervalued transactions. Being chartered accountants, this is a cake for all the chartered accountants, nothing to worry on it. If the secured creditors outstanding is 10 crores, he himself sell the assets for 80 crores. Whether the 20 crores, still he will be covered under 53. Yes, he has to file his application. He will be covered and given distribution only under 53 subsection E. Yes, that is true. Where is the income tax due is 5 years. Should the liquidator pay only 2 years old due? Under order 5, the liquidator is supposed to pay 2 years period. For the balance 5 years, they will come in the queue in order 6. So if the money is available, we will pay everybody. Otherwise, we will be paying only for 2 years. Practically, this has never come to stage. So leave it. Next question is if PF of employee and PF of employer both fall under 53(1). There are 2 ways of looking into it. If the company has got a separate trust, that money cannot be transferred into liquidator's account. That gives the priority that is defined under section. I already told you powers of the liquidator, section 35. Please refer, you will get the correct answer. On the other hand, if PF dues are being paid, there is no trust in the company, they will come under only 53 subsection E, that is order under 5. Does the PF employer both fall under? Yes, the answer is the same. Does the employee PF deducted by employer but not remitted? Again, if there is a trust, that trust will come. Trust will not come under the control of liquidator. They have to pay separately. Otherwise, they have to come under 53 subsection 1 subclause E only. Next question. In respect of unrealized portion of the secured financial credit, secured creditor should ideally stand equivalent to unsecured financial creditor. Why it is so as per section 53? Actually, Act has been created. They are not unsecured creditors. They wanted to stand apart. Accordingly, they have decided they are one step down than the financial unsecured financial creditors. It is the Act. The idea being the company is not interested to share their profit. They want to do it alone, and since they wanted to do it alone, their share will come only with the government dues. This will not be treated as an unsecured financial creditor as per section 53. Weightage of liquidation process, regulation and examination. Weightage. See, actually, each person is going to get a different question paper. We will not be able to say this weightage because, again, each question paper is different. If you are going to be thorough, it will be easy. Why it is called waterfall model? This waterfall model is used term in BLRC report. Currently, this term is not used anywhere in IBC book. This is BLRC report. Based on that, we all use the waterfall. Waterfall is nothing but who is eligible one by one. That is why it is called a waterfall model. There is no screen. Claims can be verified by RP by himself only, or he can take the help. No. It is a core function of the RP. RP verification of claim. He cannot delegate. It is the core function. There is a recent disciplinary action against one of the insolvency professional. If I remember, his name is Mr. Garg, kind of a this thing. They have very categorically said that claims should be verified only by the RP. So this cannot be delegated because being a core function. Next question. Revathi. Okay.
How shall the liquidator
deal with onerous property? This liquidator dealing with the onerous property, there is a procedure he has to follow. Within 6 months, he has to deal with the onerous property. Within 1 month, he has to give a notice. Within 7 days, he has to disclaim. There is a procedure. This onerous property, whatever they have stated, is as similar to Companies Act. If you have read the Companies Act, same procedure is followed here. And onerous property is technically a liability. It is definitely it is the duty of the liquidator to disclaim this property. And as per section regulation 10, you have to deal with the onerous property, whatever they have been stated in this respect. Section CD amounting to 5% more than the cross owner of the last 5 years is disqualified. But we have to see that because initially it was 10%. Later on they have changed as a 5%. If it is applicable to you before 39, auditor cannot be appointed as the liquidator or CIRP. Both this thing are one and the same in this respect. The next is that notice will be made by AA within 10 days of the bankruptcy order. Claims will be lodged with the bankruptcy trustee within. Now, in bankruptcy trustee, 100% there is a overlap. There is a overlap because it very clearly says, if you look into Bankruptcy Trustee Act, it says 10 days the AA has to give and the claim has to come within 7 days. However, there is a 14 days within which you are to prepare a list of creditors. there is a confusion. For examination purpose, you are supposed to read as it is. Don't get yourself confused. But there is a overriding in bankruptcy. I fully agree with you. But examination, unless the regulation is going to come, we will not be able to do anything. We have taken this as it is. But if you put a chart, you will find it something ridiculous here. But for examination purpose, we have to follow what is stated in the IBC code. Is there any other question? CIRP, eligibility of a resolution professional. Eligibility of a resolution for the appointment of RP is not an employee or the proprietor or a legal consulting firm that has a transaction amounting to 5%. Can you just lift it up? Yeah, thank you. 5% of the gross turnover for the last 3 years. This is one of the disqualification. You cannot be appointed as the RP. Is there any look back period for the transaction with unrelated party? Can the avoidance transaction be filed with the transaction with the answer is yes. The look back period for the unrelated party is 1 year, and both preferential transaction as well as undervalued transaction, the look back period is 1 year. You can very well file it before the AA in respect of the avoidance transaction. Under what waterfall will the directors of the company who are considered as an employee for PF? Can you just lift the question, please? Under waterfall, will the directors of the company who are considered as employee for PF and income tax purposes be treated as employees? Again, if he's a whole-time employee, if you could recall, he's an employee of the company because he has entered into a service contract with the company. He will be treated only as an employee. But what is important, if he's going to file an application, he will be taken and he will be paid in order number 3. If the RP files a case against the suspended board of directors who had managed a company, again, I'm not able to see that. Can you just take it to the, if the RP files a case against the suspended board of directors which had managed a company wherein all employees have resigned months before ICD due to non-payment of salary, will it result in a stalemate situation? How a RP will proceed? See, as long as it is a going concern, I would like to, being a resolution professional, I would like to continue with the employees. If the employees have left for the reason of non-payment of salary, I cannot force any person. And this is not a stalemate position or nothing of that sort. What is required from RP is like, he should be capable of understanding the company and he should make a resolution for the company. And if somebody is interested in the product, see, it is the basically role of the RP. He has to fight and try to get the resolution. Whether the employee is resigning, not resigning is not going to have the issue. The issue here is that whether the company will be revived is what we will look into it. If the COC has initially accepted the appointment of professional in contact of the business of the city where there are no employees, negate the compensation of the professional consultant. What the professional consultant do? If the COC has initially accepted appointment of professional in conduct of the business of the city, where there are no employees, negate the compensation. I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand the question. Revathi, will you be able to explain? If the COC has initially accepted the appointment of the professional in conduct of the business, then he is a resolution professional. Where there are no employees, negate the compensation to the professional consultant. See, there is no role of employees to say like this. See, because the professionals are appointed by the NCLT, subsequently confirmed as a resolution professional by the COC. Every payment of the resolution professional is going to come only from the COC members, not from the company, even though it is a going concern. And during, if you are going to take the company as a going concern, it is the duty of the RP to generate money by conducting the business and paying them the salary. And is anything, will you be able to add it up?
No. See, once a COC is accepting the appointment of the RP, then I don't see where there is going to be any negation, unless and until again they go to vote and they decide to change the RP because they're not happy with the way he has delivered the services. And in that case, in case the COC decides to replace the RP, then the RP does not have any other option but to resign gracefully and hand over to the new.
Not resign gracefully.
Leave gracefully.
No.
Yeah.
Should go with a 66% of to replace the IRP. Okay.
So once they get that 66%, then he has to move out.
That is
okay. Make his claim to the new resolution professional in case he is not paid fully. But normally in these cases, I think the NCLT asks the COC to make the payment.
The next question, some asset is under litigation before the initiation of IBB proceedings. Should the assets be reported? Should IM and list of assets? If you could recall, in information memorandum, we have to say about the accounts, we have to say about list of creditors, person holding more than 1%, corporate debtors, related party transactions, all those things. And one particular class very clearly says about the litigations against corporate debtor. When there is a litigation against corporate debtor, it is part of the resolution professional to include that also in the information memorandum. It is the call of the resolution applicant whether to take this litigation into account or not to take it. Is the call of the resolution applicant, but it will be mentioned. It is part of the duty of the RP to state this litigation information.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much answered all the questions.
So if nothing else is there,
thank
you very much all the participants. I wish you very good luck. And if there is any doubt, you can very well ask through the WhatsApp created by Revathi madam. And we are here to help you. I wish you very good luck. Thank you.
Yeah. So friends, thanks a lot for patiently listening to us for the past 1 week. Aneetha, thank you very, very much for taking the time off to come and share your knowledge and experience with all the participants. I'm sure that everyone has taken the screenshots and the notes from whatever you have taught. In fact, Aneetha's classes were the first ones which I attended and which motivated me to take the exam and clear it. And I still have all the notes which I have taken during her classes and which I guard it very, very religiously. I don't share it with anyone. So I would suggest that all of you prepare from these notes and, register for the exam as soon as the lockdown is lifted and the centers are open. I think from August 20th, the centers are going to open in Chennai. So book your slots, prepare for the exam and write it. And in case you have any doubts, we are always there on the WhatsApp or you can call us. Aneetha has also been included in this group and Geetha ma'am also. We will get the material from handwritten notes from Geetha ma'am and share it in the link. And a recording of all these 5-day sessions will also be shared in the link. And you can download or go to YouTube and watch the recording. Any further information, anything which we feel is essential for the exam, we will be sharing it on the link again for access to all the members here. And in case you want any further classes, if many people are going to request, then we will discuss it with the chairman and get back to you depending on the availability and the approval from the CP Directorate in Delhi. So thanks a lot again, Aneetha, for taking the time off. And friends, thank you very much for this attendance and the active participation. It's actually a little difficult to look at the screen and talk and not, the people's faces, because the one-on-one instance is what makes it extremely testing. And through the chat, and I think that this is going to be new norm. I think all of us are going to have to get used to this faceless interactions which we are doing right now. So thank you everyone. All the best for your exams. Anything, get in touch with us through the WhatsApp, and stay safe. Maintain your social distance. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Revathi.
Yeah, all the best everyone. Thank you. Yeah.